That's really in there.
Welcome back to the Bourbon and BS podcast, everyone. This is episode 354. I'm Steve Crane, Nate Hale in the garage. Sean Wilkinson is out sick. We've got some special guests. We've got a special bottle that Nate is pouring that we want to talk about tonight, and a new cigar as well that we did feature at the Tinderbox at Easton Smoking 10 event. I want to do some quick sponsor stuff here. First and foremost, you guys out there, patreon.com/Bourbon and BS podcast. We appreciate the continued support there. You guys can check that out if you feel so inclined, or one-time contribution at Venmo at Bourbon and BS. We appreciate, like I said, all the support. Helps us keep this thing streaming and coming to you guys every other week. I do also want to thank our sponsors. I mentioned it, Tinderbox at Easton in Columbus, Ohio. At Easton Town Center, they've got, about 500, 600 selections, including this CAO Flathead Speed Shop, which is brand new. And they just featured it at one of the 14 cigars that you got at the Smoking 10 event, 13th annual 2026. So thank you very much, Tinderbox Easton, for that cigar. Altadis USA, you see some of the brands behind us. Monte Cristo, Romeo, Julieta, H. Upman, Aging Room, among others. We have a new one that we're not going to talk a lot about when we light up in part two, because we're going to feature this here soon, hopefully with David Welch back in the garage.
Oh, cool. So preview. I like it.
For us. Maybe not for you guys. I don't even know if I think it's shipped, but I don't know if it's on many shelves. So that's a new Romeo y Julieta. So stay tuned for that. We're going to redo a full review as well, hopefully in the upcoming weeks. And Be a Cigar Company available at Tinderbox at Easton. The gold is made by Plasencia and the silver is made by Espinosa Cigars. I don't have any swag on tonight, but Nate does. Thank you, Nate, for sporting it. The Bourbon and BS Barrelhead black camo hoodie. We've got a bunch of stuff on buyjack.com/Bourbon and BS for any of the swag you guys may be looking for the show, or also Be a Cigar Company. And as always, ask any questions or comment on the comment feed. So we appreciate that. Without further ado, I want to bring on our special guests here. We've got Dylan Holmes and James Whalen from High Bank Distillery. Hello.
Hey, how are you guys?
We're good. How are you?
Good. What's better than this?
I don't know. I mean, being where you guys are, because it seems a bit warmer than our garage here. We do have a beautiful studio in my garage. So when we had 70 degrees on Sunday, and now we're back down to 30, 39. So balmy 39.
Yeah, it's not too bad back here today.
No. All right. If you guys could just briefly, I mean, we've got a special bottle here. I did just see, I was going to announce and talk about, obviously, the big March Madness thing you guys have going on. I just saw that you are sold out now for both days. Is that right? Do we know?
I think Friday only is sold out. Thursday, there are some still available. So
we got some tomorrow. Yeah. All right. So we can talk about that here. Introduce yourselves, if you would, to the audience, and then let us know, I guess, what we are drinking. This is a special release. It's very fitting for a show like this, obviously, with what we do here with bourbon and cigars. So please go ahead.
Yeah. Dylan Holmes, head of blending and cask manager for High Bank. And then
I'm James Whalen, assistant distiller, sort of.
We were coming up with a title earlier. You were trying.
Yeah, we're workshopping it.
So it's just your name, no title on the business card. That's nice.
Yeah,
I like that. Keeps it loose.
So
what are we? We've got this one. This is not necessarily something new for you guys as far as a project, but this is a new batch. So I don't know how it differs from the first four. This is batch number 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And this has a special label on it. It's a special project, and please tell us about it.
Yeah, with it coming out for March Madness, the basketball overlay just seemed right, especially with the orange label to begin with. It wasn't much of a stretch to just go that route. Like you said, this is batch number 5. Honestly, this is one of my favorites. I would say rivaling number 1. I've seen many people say that as well. We've been playing around with this, like you said, for quite some time. Honestly, this is probably anywhere from 6 weeks to 3 months in Amberana for most of those fills.
Okay.
but we did a couple other things with that. We were polling it at accepted times, making a batch from that, and then reintroducing that with some Whiskey War barrel proof to kind of heighten the flavor profile there. And then a little bit of fun, we kind of double oaked some on the back end and then threw that back into the batch.
Oh, wow.
So a little bit more complexity on this one, I think.
Yeah. And then forgive me, how long have you guys been with the company? Have you been along for all 5 batches? Is this something that you've kind of spearheaded later on? I'm not familiar with, Dylan, how long you've been.
I've been with the company since May of 2019.
So yeah.
Back during quarantine to help Adam.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Nice.
I've been, sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Back in the distillery for about 2 years full time now, but I was a bartender and a server, and Dylan pulled me back with the whiskey, wafted it, and I just sort of floated like an apple pie in the windowsill.
As one would. So with this one, like you said, you say a blend. I mean, if you can, obviously not any secrets, but I mean, like, what is, you've got all these different things, the barrel proof, you've got, obviously the different finishing in the Amburana casks. What is the total yield of this? I know this is a limited edition. How is this you guys do a lot of like the blending of this. This is not a single barrel. This is something that is a project. I mean, how big of a variety are we working with?
Released about 125 gallons for this batch. So about 2.5 barrels worth, just shy of 1,000 bottles probably.
Okay. And is that being released all at this time?
So we did just send some out to the Groveport warehouse. So Central Ohio and surrounding areas will be getting that as well. And then we sent cases up to Green as well. Okay. So Northeast Ohio should be getting that as well.
Before we really get into this, how can people, since hopefully we get them here early on, how can people get their hands on this bottle before we start really talking about it?
So a couple ways. If you come to our event tomorrow or Friday, sorry, we're sold out. But if you got a ticket, you can get it then. So they're going to be available Thursday, Friday, just here in the Barrel Room in Grandview. After that, Saturday, they'll be available to the public. So you can come up front, buy a bottle. And then, like Dylan said, they'll be in the liquor stores in the following week or so. They'll sort of trickle out as stores get them.
Hopefully they'll hit my shelves.
Yeah, Nate works at Carfagna's. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I work in the wine and liquor department there. So
right on.
I actually get quite a few people asking for your guys' cigar cask. So
we think it's pretty good.
Yeah, we're doing what we can to keep the shelves stocked. So
I still have at home batch 3. I kind of wish I would have brought it. Just do a side by side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that one was coming in just a little over 116, and this one's 117.
117. Yeah. 0.36 or something like that. You really take it out to the hundreds there, huh?
1.6.
Yeah.
1.6.
We got to stick it to the man with that.
Yeah, the state would like us to do so.
I got you.
We oblige. The batches have been cool as they sort of progress because the Amburana is super porous, really aggressive aging. And so it has a ton of refillability. And so we're getting up to our first barrel that we have is on its 12th fill.
So you're reusing this every time you fill these batches. Okay.
Yeah. And so that's sort of why we're playing with the blending and reintroducing and doing different stuff with it as the barrel starts to sort of lose its legs a little bit. But as it does that, it sort of transforms the flavor as well, which makes it fun to play with.
Yeah, it's extremely aggressive.
Yeah.
I think we, with the batches, have kind of tempered that aggressive flavor profile. The Amburana, like James said, very porous. It's going to impart so much flavor very quickly. You're able to hide faults in your whiskey with it. But I think that batch 4 was a step towards, okay, this is Amburana finished, but it's still highlighting what Whiskey War truly is. And then batch 5, again, is a step even further with that. We would like to highlight just how good our whiskey truly is without hiding it in an Amburana, but more so just highlighting it.
So as you say, it's aggressive and it kind of gets more aggressive with your fills. Is that what you're saying? So is this
less aggressive with the fills? The first time we introduced any whiskey into it, it was 24 hours and we were calling it finished.
Okay.
So at that point, it's more just like an infusion. Very, very oily. These are medium toast barrels. So more of a wine finish than a traditional whiskey barrel finish.
Yeah.
they're toasted, they're not charred, so you don't get that sort of
that makes sense.
Going in.
That makes sense.
So yeah, the super aggressive. So it's not they get more aggressive aging the longer that it's in the barrel, right? Which makes sense. But
that does make sense.
Go on, you sort of lose some of that oils as it comes out.
Yeah.
So with this also, I mean, when you said that you had a bunch of different, like when the part is the whole, I guess, project finished in the Ambruana, or is it just aspects? And then you said you introduced some of the barrel proof, or like what is that step by step, at least of what you're allowed to say?
So that's basically just
right?
Stretching the batch out. I think if we were to find anything inconsistent flavor profile wise, we'd pull that, introduce barrel proof, then reintroduce it to that Amburana just to heighten those flavor profiles, recorrect a little bit, and then kind of get it back on course with a flavor profile that we would accept.
But everything in the bottle has been finished in Amburana at some point.
Yeah.
It's all touched at some point, right? Okay.
Yeah.
What questions do you have, anything? What do you think of it? You can always throw that out there as well.
Well, so over the last few years, I believe, Amburana has been one of those buzzwords in the industry that you've got a lot of people that really like it, and you've got a lot of people who can't stand it and think it gets overused. So what's the thinking behind continuing to do this project, given that it's such a divisive thing to do in the industry now?
I think that's honestly just cigar cask in general. And I mean, I think that is basically it being a flavor driven product, with it going either cognac or Amburana, cognac, Armagnac, or Amburana. But the Amburana, I think, like you said, it's pretty aggressive. The cognac and Armagnac side of things is a little bit more delicate when you're thinking cigar cask. But I think when done right, the Amburana having a higher lignin content than anything American oak or French oak imparts a lot of cinnamon, clove, and with that toast and sometimes charred that some distilleries are doing, you have more of a chance to impact your whiskey with a lot of vanilla flavor as well. So creaming things out, you get a very desserty mouthfeel and desserty flavor profile.
But we're going to keep doing it, I think, because we like it. So
there you go.
Well, like I said, I get customers that ask for it. So
yeah, as much as we like Dodo here, this is one that I don't think people can get enough of.
Right, absolutely.
Until they stop buying it, we'll probably keep making it.
Yeah.
Is there ever a chance that you would do, or a full blown like cigar cask is a normal product for you guys, not just the small batch? Is there a way to, or would you want to even? I mean, would you want to go away from batches? I know you guys have been like that with a lot of your products. There's always like the batch number on some of the like the doubles and stuff like that. I mean, is this something that's you're trying to get on the shelves fairly regularly? It's just a matter of, I don't know when batch 4 was out versus when we're releasing this now.
Batch 4 was Halloween of last year.
Okay. So it's kind of rolling.
We're working towards like a once a year bigger batch type situation.
Okay.
But then special releases happen. So
sure.
I think that's kind of the course that we're still heading down. Is more of a once a year, and then kind of sprinkle in some single barrels with some people here and there.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, so everything that we do that's Whiskey War or the High Bank Bourbon is a batch product, and I think it'll probably always be that way.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff like the black label and the green label barrel proof and the double oaked, that stuff that's sort of flagship, that's always going to be on the shelves.
Sure.
Just because that's very readily available for us.
Yeah.
And but I think the cigar, we're gonna always keep making it, but it's I think there's some amount of intentional scarcity, or like
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Plus, you guys just introduced 2 new core products, right? I mean, we did that. What was it, two episodes ago or last?
Yeah,
episode?
we did batch 1 of your guys' bourbon barrel proof.
Bourbon and barrel proof bourbon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The High Bank.
Yeah.
And we were trying to figure, we were talking about it. I know Amy Jones was trying to chime in a little bit on the feed there, but I mean, the difference between Whiskey War and then the High Bank.
Oh yeah, because so much of what you guys do for the Whiskey War profile is high rye mash bills, and then the bourbon. I was surprised when to come and find out it's a wheated mash bill, wheated bourbon, and so
Yeah, so
we
there's
were
sort
way
of-
off also, by the way, when we were guessing that mash bill. I think the whole garage was off, right?
Sean was the only one that guessed wheat.
He guessed wheat, and because so Sean, he's sick tonight, but he's newer to the game, both cigars and bourbon and whiskey and stuff. So it's kind of fun having him on because he was like doing it, and as he's saying it, he's like kind of with question marks. And they were like, "You think it's wheated?" And he just like, "Well, no, wait, I don't know." And then all of a sudden it comes out, and it's like, "Well, you're the only one got that one right." So fine.
Yeah, Adam's a huge fan of Weller, so I'm not surprised that he
Right.
went with that. But yeah, like you were talking about, the Whiskey War is that high rye mash bill. So following up that with another rye mash bill didn't really make sense for us.
No, absolutely. So I have a question here, and I'm going to put up a comment here. Toledo Tim, I know Toledo Tim. I just met him. He actually went to the 10 event from obviously Toledo, so he came from a little bit of distance. But I'm locked in with a Joseph Magnus cigar blend and a Crowned Heads Mil Diaz. May or may not got that at the 10 event. We had some Mil Diaz floating around.
So he is drinking an Armagnac finish.
Okay.
Magnus, yeah, that is
Armagnac and sherry, right?
yeah.
PX,
Yep.
I think.
Yeah, they do a triple sherry cask or a triple cask that they sprinkle into. I don't know if it's a huge accepted batch that they call a Coupe de Mire. And then individual batches are then finished in Armagnac barrels there. So that's what Nancy Fraley's doing there. And also cigar cask-ish cigar blend with Tanager down at Still Austin. But she's doing a different
Still
process.
awesome, nice.
on it.
So who's the first? Joseph Magnus is the first one that I recall seeing hit the shelves with cigar on it. Does it like am I off on that? I mean, I'm sure there's been something else.
The
but that's
one
first
that
one.
I can think of is Starlight, but that's
Starlight Distillery.
that they're working with Amberana, so that's why
Yeah. Okay.
we are thinking that. But Magnus is what I'm thinking as well.
I feel like Starlight, because Starlight wasn't available in Ohio, we didn't see it here at first,
Yeah.
right? So that's the
Josh
Joseph
Bentley brought us a couple bottles.
Right. So they might have been messing with it because those guys are doing some cool things over there. But I mean,
Yeah, they
Joseph
do a
Magnus, I feel like in Ohio, it's like more the mainstream. That's the first one that had cigar on the label and had a lot of questions of why. And I think that's a good kind of segue. And we do have the lovely Amy.
Oh, hey. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Amy. Appreciate all that. Just so you see some of, I don't know if you guys can see that behind us here.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So you see the Whiskey War basketball hoop right there. And we have not logoed, but the basketballs. Of course, when I opened up the package, I was like, of course, it's Amy all over it.
I draw the line somewhere with the
Stay on
budget.
brand. Got to stay on brand. Basketball.
Stay on brand, absolutely. But no, the whole cigar blend, this is Cigar Cask. That was the questions I had originally when I saw the Joseph Magnus, on the shelves. And I'm like, all right, does it go with cigars? I mean, because a lot of different, spirits do, especially in the whiskey world. But it's like, where is this terminology coming from? Who started it? If you guys know, I don't know. I haven't looked this up. I mean, I can ask ChatGPT. and all
From
that
what
stuff.
I have read, it's been around in the cognac realm for
Okay.
a long time. So that's where I believe the
From
origin
the
is.
cognac world.
To me, that is more old world. Amberana seems more new world. Sorry, James, my hands in the face. But coming from cognacs, having cigar finishes or cigar blends, a finish of whiskey in a cognac or an Armagnac barrel seems pretty spot on to that as well.
Do you think that's because, back in the day in the old world, if you will, it was the fact that cognac was the after dinner drink with cigars? Is that what we're thinking? I mean, where is this coming from? Does anyone, I don't know.
Our understanding, or my understanding of it, is that they call it cigar cask because it's a really strong flavor profile that stands up to a cigar. So it's sort of an accompanying flavor profile. So you think of Amberana really punchy, right? Sort of is supposed to cut through the cigar flavor.
Yeah,
And
some of that bitterness that you get from burnt tobacco.
I got you. Huh.
So not necessarily that it tastes like a cigar, and sometimes you get that tobacco profile. Cognac a lot of times will give that. But yeah, cognac, Armagnac, Amberana are sort of the big three, but we've seen like Joseph Magnus, they do a sherry. There's people who are doing wine finishes and calling it cigar cask. It's just that like sort of big punchy profile to sit with a cigar. And
From what I've heard, this term called rancio, very common in wines. I guess. Yes. A term basically earthy, nutty, dried fruit.
Okay.
Something that they seem or deemed that pairs well with tobacco as well. something that they're trying to achieve.
It's interesting. Being in the cigar world, obviously, it's just kind of interesting because there's a lot of spirits that go with cigars. So I mean, that's why I didn't expect you to know the answer necessarily, but it's just I feel like it's being thrown around a lot, and no one really, I don't say questions it, but it's like
I actually got that question at work the other day from one of the bartenders because our bar still has a bottle of Old Elk cigar cut. They're like, what the hell does cigar cut mean? And it's like, well, there's 4 different finishing barrels. Pour a sip of that for yourself and you tell me like how that would go with a cigar. That's the point.
What do you think of this?
So anytime I've had something done in Amburana, whether it be your guys' cigar cask, Dark Arts rye finish in Amburana, the Starlight, I get an overwhelming flavor of apple pie. The very first time we had the Starlight one in the garage, I had poured it in. It was ironically, it was Sean. I poured it into his glass and I went in to use your restroom. And as I'm going in, I'm like, who lit up a candle? Because it smelled like a cinnamon candle right away in the garage. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I smelled his glass. I'm like, holy cow, that was it. That's why when I opened this bottle, as soon as I pulled the cork out, the air underneath it came up with it. And I just smelled that apple pie. And I just sat there and held this one. It's apple pie, but like when you were making the recipe, the cap fell off the cinnamon and you kind of overdid it with the cinnamon. That's kind of what.
In a good way, I hope.
Yes. Like just it's that apple pie flavor, but with a little bit more spice and the clove to it. So it's not overly sweet because it kind of balances out with a little bit more of that spice on there.
All right, so I'm at Cinnamon Toast Crunch combined with and I always get it wrong. It's the animals that have the pink frosting on them. Is that animal crackers? That
cracker, like a yogurt frosted animal cracker?
Yeah, but like the animal cookies are the lame ones that come in the little Barnum and Bailey thing, right? The circus. But these are the ones that have like that pink frosting on them.
Yeah.
They got the sprinkles.
So yeah, I'm sure some of them do. Yeah.
No, all right, maybe not.
No, yeah, I think you're talking. Yeah, but I'm not talking. You know what I'm talking. I'm not talking about the ones that are like they're more like cookies. But I thought they called them animal crackers. I'm trying to remember how that was. Thought it was deceiving. Maybe it was animal cookies, but I thought the animal cookies were the ones in the little train thing. You remember that? How old are you guys?
Yeah.
Aging myself here, but it's like that's what I'm getting a combination of. Is like all those food flavors, like Cinnamon Toast Crunch combined with that pink thing. A little bit of like kind of like a rum chata or whatever, has that like kind of flavor to it.
Yep.
I think that was animal cookie shots.
So Stouffer's just calls theirs iced animal cookies.
Okay.
And then Mother's calls theirs circus animal.
All right. So we know what we're talking about. Pink frosting on them, sprinkles on the good ones, obviously, which is nice. But that's where I'm at with this. It's got like a little more kick up of the cinnamon. Or if you're eating those cookies, possibly chewing Big Red, I think you'd be also right there with some of this. I mean, it's just it's got so much flavor. That nose is fantastic. Obviously, it is very almost dessert-like in my opinion. But it's very good. I did have a question also. I don't know if you know Ryan from across town here. Let me find it here. Ryan Venrick asks, what was your decision process in choosing Amburana? Do you know Ryan, guys?
We know of Ryan, right?
Yeah. So Ryan's over at Watershed. Yeah.
I think we're going to see you tomorrow, Ryan. So looking forward to that.
Well, there you go. But yeah, what is your decision process in choosing Amburana?
So it started honestly as an experimental thing. We sourced the Amburana, and fortunately enough for us, it was a pick for OHLQ. We sent it to San Francisco World Spirit Competition, and it's won double gold before batch 1 was released. So that was kind of just a reassurance for us that rather than experimental, this is kind of turn it into a product line.
Stuck with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. So our barrel select program is, I don't know, you guys have the white bottles, got the pistol caps on it, and those are all single barrel finished almost always. And so we've played around with just about everything that we can get our hands on so far. But yeah, the cigar, the Amburana was a big one that really caught on. And so we're like, all right, we like it. Everybody else likes it.
Yeah.
Run with it.
Absolutely. And I don't know if Ryan's going to be upset with me, but I still have this idea where you you have to re-pour some into a barrel of some sort that actually was holding tobacco leaves to have a true cigar cask. I don't know if you know that a lot of the cigar manufacturers actually, are you familiar with this? That a lot of cigar manufacturers, they take bourbon barrels,
Yes.
and then they age tobacco leaves in them.
Who was that? Dexter is doing
Dexter.
it.
Yeah, Brainworks in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
What
They're
did
doing
Dexter
a cherry wood,
Maple wood,
and then they have wood from a 200-year-old tobacco barrel.
200
They've
years. Okay.
Also, yeah,
what
that's
it
the
says on
story.
label. And they did
Good.
like a triple finish of those, which is really cool. Yeah.
Very interesting. Where is this? What is this? Might have to get some more details.
Dexter is the name of the label. I'm not sure if they're the distillery, but I think it's Brain Brew, Brainworks. They're out of Cincinnati, and they do.
Okay.
They
We'll
were
have
at
to check it out.
Ohio Craft Bourbon
The
Festival.
festival,
Yeah, in Henwick this last year, and so we got to go around and try some stuff, and they were one of them. So
Got it. And no, Ryan, I am not giving away the house. That was just a little talking point. Absolutely. Ryan and I have been talking about this for a while now, so he's working on something to get in the mix of that, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. Yeah. But what do you think of the cigar with this? Because I think that's a big question.
that's what was on my mind. Was
That's on your mind?
As cigar smokers, you guys are.
Unfortunately, I'm not risking it with a cigar back here.
Yeah, we don't
No,
want
not back there. No.
So yeah, how does it hold up? What is it? Does it stay true to the name?
Yeah, so we are smoking, just so we can kind of get the CAO Flathead Speed Shop Habana. This is going to be something that the CAO Flathead's been around for probably like 8 years or something like that at this point, which was a original blend. That was a totally different blend than this. This is a kind of a filling in the portfolio for within. So CAO is the brand. Flathead was the blend. Now you have the Flathead Speed Shop. And this has an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, a San Andreas Mexican binder, and the Nicaraguan Dominican filler. So you've got tobaccos kind of from all over. The Habana is going to be, as far as in the name, that's part of the Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, which is, how familiar are you guys with cigars in general?
Not at all, but I like
foreign language.
But I like the words you're saying. Yeah, keep going.
I like what I'm saying. So the Flathead, you can see the box on the screen there. The original Flatheads came out. It kind of in person, that box kind of looks a little bit very, very garage-like, if you can kind of get that hot rod retro feel. The original Flathead boxes, it came with, as soon as you take it off, and they all had different colors for the sizes, but it was the same blend. When you take the box top off, then you've got basically, it had like an old-fashioned like pinup girl.
Yeah.
Right, like 50s, right, pinup girl. And so that was very kind of it was a marketing thing, and it was all, the Flatheads had these different names that had, piston was a size, camshaft, big block, carb. So it went full blown with that. They had some cool ashtrays that looked like a piston top and all that stuff. So very cool marketing. This comes out, the original Flathead was going to be full bodied. So for those that are smoking cigars out there that are interested in the Speed Shop, medium body. This is a step down in strength. It's a totally different flavor profile than the original Flathead, but it stays with the marketing. It's a box press cigar. So for you guys, can't really tell from the picture, but instead of a traditional round cigar, this one is actually box press. So it's
square,
pretty much square. This one's a little softer, I feel like, than the original Flathead.
Yeah.
But that could just be because it's a newer cigar. They're kind of getting them out and all that stuff. But that's kind of where we're at with that. Again, kind of get that kind of aggressive marketing side of it, if you will, for the garage, the car thing, and all that stuff. So very cool marketing behind it. I love the look of it as far as that white and red. It's very, again, like that 50s, late 50s, early 60s styling, I think.
Yeah,
but
I was even going back to the 40s with like the pinups on the bombers.
Yeah.
That kind of style as well.
Yeah. Well, right behind me, right here, that's from another cigar.
There you go.
Eric Espinosa's 601 Warhead there. So you kind of see that was a kind of similar type of feel there with the pinup on the, exactly right. What do you think of the cigar? And then what do you think of the cigar with this bottle?
I definitely put this cigar at medium. I've smoked one before, and I think it was on Sunday when I was in the shop. Definitely like straightforward, medium body. I think being this box press, it actually smokes a little fast, like it's a little loose in there.
I can see that.
And as far as the pairing, I think the original Flathead might pair better because I think some of those food and sweeter notes that we get on the whiskey kind of overpower the medium and smoothness of the Habano tobacco. And I think that the original Flathead, because it had more Ligero in the blend, it had a little bit more strength. It had a little bit more bite and bitterness to it. That would be offset and paired better with the whiskey. I think, especially this also coming in at a 117 proof. I think that also just, you have a very strong whiskey and a very strong flavor profile going up against a just right down the middle of the plate, medium body, not even super robust on the palate in terms of flavor, just right down the middle, medium. I think this is something, you go from like a pitcher like Greg Maddox topping out 92 to a Rawdish Chapman throwing 106. That's kind of what you're going.
Painting the corners though with Maddox. I mean, you gotta.
I think you lost him, but I understand where you're at here.
I recognize
on the cigars, the baseball reference on where did we lose you?
No, I
was here. You lost me at baseball, but you got me back.
Oh, okay.
I know Chapman, so we're good. Yeah. So you would want to. You would want a punchier cigar to stand up to.
Yeah. So a lot of times when I have, whether it's your guys' cigar cask, the other day at work when I had one of the bartenders try the Old Elk Cigar Cut, you've got the Joseph Magnus cigar blend. Those tend to have sweeter notes than some of your just, everyday bourbons that people are drinking.
Yeah.
And so a heavier, fuller bodied cigar can stand up to those sweeter notes a little bit. If it's a cigar that's more on the milder side or more medium body like this one, there's not enough oomph behind it to play with something like this. It kind of, little brother getting bashed over the head by his bigger brother is kind of what's going on.
So I'm kind of with you on that. So I think the flavors though go very well because and you guys again not knowing. The original Flathead is going to be, it's a Connecticut, like a true Connecticut grown broadleaf, different type of seed of tobacco over Nicaraguan tobacco. It is fuller. That's a hardier leaf. I think with this flavor profile, this does smoke different than the original Flathead because the tobaccos are obviously very, very different. It doesn't have that hardy wrapper leaf. It's got that Dominican tobacco in there. It's not just, I don't think it's just as sturdy of a cigar. Going whiskey to the then cigar, that first puff of the cigar is a little bit muted based on what you just had as far as in the glass. You stay with the cigar a little bit, like a couple more puffs, it starts coming back as far as the flavor, in my opinion. And then going from then the cigar after that for a little while, having this flavor of this, because this has it's got a woodiness, it's got a little bit of a hint of spice to it, I think. Very good flavor on the cigar, and again, medium body, so it's not strong. But I'm not even looking for the strength of the cigar. I'm more looking for the flavor. And I think again, going whiskey to cigar, the whiskey overpowers it. Going from cigar though, then to the whiskey, a lot better. It's a lot better pairing. I think it's just something that you get all that kind of the light woodiness to it. You get that little bit of spice to it, and then you go to this with that cinnamon, like we were talking about, the sweetness. There's a lot going on there.
Well, I think some of the woodiness you get on the cigar almost kind of dries your palate out a little bit. So that way, as soon as you take a sip of the whiskey, the oils just saturate your tongue and just sit there.
Yeah,
and
that's
great too
with the Amberana.
Yes. Yeah.
But I feel like there's still some of those food flavors in this cigar, especially after you do the retrohale and let it kind of hang out on your palate.
There's more like those subtle baking spices.
Baking spices, exactly.
Almost like a ginger spice there.
Retrohale for you guys, if you notice, sometimes we push it through the nose. Are you familiar with that at all? So it's something where you don't inhale. It's more you take in the smoke, you draw it in, you kind of push it up through the nose, the nasal cavity, and it comes out. And much like your nose with, when you're taking a sip of, say, whiskey, it all kind of works together, as far as making that flavor profile really come alive and all encompassing.
Yeah. Makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. So, we're going to have you guys in the garage at some point here. Lou,
like I said, I'm not good at smoking them, but
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll try it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
More than happy to.
Lou McGinnis asks you guys, question for the guests. When you transfer to the finishing barrels, do you fill the barrel or do you occasionally turn the barrel to get a consistent use of the barrel? If that makes sense.
Yeah, we fill it up all the way.
Yeah.
All the way. So the Amberana barrels are 55 gallons, so a little bit bigger than your standard 53. But yeah, treat it as a standard barrel, standard finishing run. And so that's what lets us, if we say, hey, we pull it out, it's good. What does it need a little bit? We add in the barrel proof, say, half barrel proof, half cigar cask finish, half Amberana finish, reintroduce that back to the full surface area. That sort of lets it play back together. If that makes sense.
If there's an addition, it's going back into the barrel before we're pulling it back out. We're not adding anything else to it after we're pulling it from that Amberana barrel.
Right. And then Ann had asked, I don't know if Ann, I know she came in a little late here. Second filler later, you guys kind of talked about this, is that you guys are still utilizing the same barrels at this point.
Yeah, this is definitely later than a second fill.
Yeah, I would say it varies because we've gotten different barrels at different times, but our very first barrel were, I think, up to fill 12.
Okay.
And we haven't really found where that end spot is, but I think we're getting close to that.
Yeah, we're pretty close on that barrel. We're working with 4 probably good ones. Unfortunately, I don't think Brazil is known for sustainable and quality forestation.
Got it. So there is an expiration.
A few lemons here or there.
When you're doing that, though, like when you say that, like, how do you know when the last fill is? I mean, is this a gut feeling? Is this something that you fill it and you do one of those things? You're kind of, I don't know if you're thieving from it or whatever, but you say, all right, this thing's kind of done. This isn't really doing anything anymore, or it's doing the wrong thing to it. And then you pull all that stuff and use another one of them. Is that kind of the process, or
I would say it's more you were thieving from it, and okay, this isn't even lending any Amberana flavor profile. Does it really do us any good to call it cigar cask?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think that does us any justice charging people for a cigar cask bottle, even if it's aged in a barrel that doesn't taste like anything.
Yeah, and part of it you can tell as you start to get to the end, it takes a lot longer to fill it, and there's a certain point where it's like, all right, if it's going to be a year for this to be ready, it's probably done because it's supposed to be aggressive and fast.
Yeah, I got you.
But that's also where it gets fun. Like we've talked about how aggressive it is. If you're not getting into some of those later fills, you're losing a lot of that nuance from that wood. You're probably just going to dance with the vanilla and the cinnamon bombs that most people are traditionally known for. You get into some of those later fills, you can, age longer, but you're able to control that flavor profile a lot more.
We've got Toledo Tim. How kind of 2 questions here. How often do you taste before you decide this is the right one? And then Ryan, again, is there an average finishing time, or is it purely by profile? I know you had quite the range earlier on when you said that. It was, I think,
the first one was 24 hours. I think.
It's very it's
days to months.
Immediate. Yeah.
I mean, it's the first, when we get a fresh barrel, that first fill is like, we got to go back the next morning, 24 hours less. It's like, this is time to go. And then it's, then it's a couple days, then it's a week, but we're trying, especially these Amberana barrels specifically, when we get new ones, it's almost daily for the first fill or 2. Yeah. Because like we gotta, when it goes too far, it's very cedar. It gets like sort of more bitter. So we want to try to avoid that and get just like the sweet, nice tropical cinnamon profile.
Yeah, tasting, like you said, is definitely, when you fill it, it's about day, 2 days, 4 week, 2 weeks, month.
Sort of like that
gradual ramp up. And then back to the average fill time. I mean, we've been looking closer to a month to 3 months right now is where we're usually aging things, especially with weather. I mean, we've kind of benefited from it just being a roller coaster here in Ohio with the hot cold snaps. So that with how porous the wood is, you're going to get a lot of movement of flavors within that whiskey.
Let me ask you guys this. You've been there since 2019. You've been in the program, you said, for 2 years now, right?
Yep. Yeah. Full-time back.
So where the hell did you learn how to do this stuff?
I think both of us were pretty good bartenders. So what I tell everybody is, if you can make a pretty good cocktail and just not follow a recipe, as long as you know how to work within flavor profiles and kind of craft something that way.
Mhm.
The transition over to the whiskey world, there is definitely a learning curve, but it kind of goes a little bit hand in hand. I mean, they kind of work off each other.
Yeah. Well, there's a big difference though than like, obviously working on a barrel project that lasts, years versus, mixing a cocktail, try and like experiment with that. And then you're like, no, that didn't work. There's a little bit of a different time frame there, right? I mean,
it's hard to have an oopsie here because you're big
it's more expensive too. Yep.
I know Adam would appreciate it if we don't do that.
No.
Most of what I learned as far as the whiskey side of things was sort of Dylan coaxing me along, and then a lot of online research, just sort of going down rabbit holes all over the place, drinking a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
Just sort of going. Yeah. My girlfriend didn't.
Part of the job. Yep.
I didn't have a drinking problem, but I had a shopping problem for a little bit. Trying to
a lot of bourbon guys did.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So luckily that's sort of tapered down because I have access to some pretty good stuff now. So,
That's good.
Yeah, we kind of benefited that Adam kind of did his due diligence. Whiskey was going to be good either way, whether or not we're here. I think we're both pretty passionate about High Bank in general and about whiskey, so we'd like to see that continue.
No, absolutely. Ann had that question. How old is what goes in the barrel? I know you would kind of
for these about 6.5 going into the barrel, and then the additional probably 6 weeks to 3 months.
Okay.
So just shy of 7 year.
Yeah, we don't. There's no
total age
statement on the bottles, but just shy of 7 probably is where we're at.
Yeah, anything Whiskey War right now, we're working with either just shy of 7 or just north of 7 years for all of our products.
That's when Adam really started putting them in barrels, right?
What?
So that's when Adam started putting it in barrels, right? About like 2019-ish?
Yes. 2018 was when we were first filling.
First production.
Yeah. Of our bourbon, and then this stuff is obviously the sourced MGP that we're talking about, the Whiskey War.
Yeah, so Whiskey War does not come from us. No. So that's stuff that we source externally.
Right.
It's all MGP. Yeah. So 3 mash bills and it comes out.
That's right. The High Bank is your guys' stuff.
Yes,
correct?
High Bank bourbon is our distillery.
That was the distinction.
That's sort of the big difference between the two.
Okay.
It was initially Whiskey War was going to be kind of the stopgap, but then it was like, best blended whiskey in America. We'll probably keep making it.
Should probably keep on that one. Yeah, while it's hot.
Keep doing that one because people seem to like it. So we've been fortunate to come into some good stock of stuff that's up to our age statement and stuff that we've had in the warehouse.
If you see the cross pistols on any bottle, that's going to be the Whiskey War. That's how you know mash bills.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I met Adam, and do you guys know Rudy, who used to be with you guys? Yeah. I met them back in 2020. And it was at a charity event right before the Arnold was canceled, and it was at for After School All Stars, and that was an Arnold Schwarzenegger's one of his big charity. I don't know if they're still involved over with you guys, but they were like the whiskey people at the tent. It was at Vets Memorial, and we were the cigar people at it. So we're like in the same little tent there, and we're talking. And I still remember Adam. He's talking about it, and he's we're Whiskey War, obviously just a few products at the time. And he's like, no, I've got stuff already sitting that I'm really waiting on to see what happens with it. So it's kind of cool to see it, full circle now, as far as that goes, and to see this High Bank bourbon out there while you guys are still doing this. But very, very good people there. And Austin, you guys know what's that?
I was gonna say what you're looking at here. These are all the High Bank bourbon. So that's our distillate.
You can tell by the logo.
They're sitting on, the logo, right? You can tell it's ours.
Yeah. And that's at the Grandview, the main distillery there, right? No, it's fantastic.
If you guys come to the Mash Madness event, you'll see it.
Yeah.
Austin will be there.
I can't be there. Got to work. I think you have to work too, right? Yeah.
We'll have to work till 2, but
we'll drink for you guys.
Friday's sold out.
Please do.
Yeah, Austin. You need to bring your laptop.
Oh, Austin. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We love Austin.
Hey, there he is.
So Austin's a good friend of the show as well, and I know he's been working with you guys for some time, which is really cool. Yeah. Tell us about the event, if you guys, for the ones that are listening right now that don't have anything going on tomorrow. What is this event? It's a very cool little project that you tied into this. Obviously, with I'll put that, again, you guys tied it in. There's no real. I mean, this is just with the marketing behind the event and everything else that you guys did the basketball here for March Madness release, correct?
Yeah, so it's just for fun, pretty much. So we partner with 11 Warriors to sort of market it and push it and brand it, but it's back in our barrel room. We have 6 or 8 TVs back here, including a 96-inch TV and a couple 80-inch TVs that we added back here. We're gonna have a bunch of games on. Obviously, Ohio State plays at 12:15.
First game.
They are the first game tomorrow.
First game, yeah, big noon kickoff as always, right? But yeah, so it's gonna be, we open at 11 Thursday and Friday back here. So it's an all-you-can-eat food, hot dogs, nachos, wings, and pizza. Gonna be cash bar. We're pouring samples of the new cigar cask, and that's available for purchase. A couple other fun things. We're doing like a 3-point shot raffle, and then obviously all the games will be on, and it's pretty fun. We're gonna be
everybody's
back here.
Nice to Adam. We might have other barrels to thief from.
Yeah, maybe we'll try a thing or two.
Depends on his mood.
Yeah.
Depends on how the Buckeyes play.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, should be a fun time. You'll see myself and Dylan and Mike, our head distiller, will be back there slinging drinks for the first half of the day.
Making our return to bartending.
Yeah, that's right.
Already getting peer pressure here. I have to tell Brian I'm taking lunch at High Bank on Friday. Amy says that we have seats if we need them, so which is nice. That's very very sweet of you, Amy.
Yeah.
That's funny. Now, is this hoop? You said you have is this regulation or what are we dealing with here?
What are we dealing with these?
Are we dealing with that?
Oh no, it's
regulation.
Yeah.
I think it's
We gotta
a 10-footer, I think, but it's
10
up
footer.
there.
You think? Can you slam dunk on it? Because
I did.
He did
I
earlier.
did
It's
just
not-
So it
it's
might
not
not
10 feet then. Come on.
It's probably 9. Yeah, maybe
I
8.
played college baseball, but
That's not like, I mean, that's impressive. I'm not saying it's not impressive, but you're an athlete.
I mean,
How
it's
tall are you?
6'3".
All right. Well, now we're getting maybe, right?
I was playing Uggs too, so it's either really athletic or it's 9 feet.
I think it's a 9-footer. Sorry, buddy.
8.5, whatever. But that's fine. Whatever.
You're trying to diminish.
And are you dunking with this or a regulation ball? What are we-
It's
a
probably
real ball.
Maybe it's not regulation.
maybe
Did
I
you film it?
one
Yeah.
Phantom.
Yeah, maybe it's a middle school basketball, but it all counts.
Your story's falling apart as we're talking. It's just falling apart.
Paper mache castle at most.
Yes. All right. So with this, a couple more questions here. This is number 5. You said you're talking about trying to like keep this a once a year, but with a bigger yield, correct? So this is something that you want to have the limited kind of field, do events like this. Very cool. Get them at the distillery, get people that are local to do this. This is only available with you guys first. Then it's going to trickle out or to the bar, right? And then it's going to trickle out to OHLQ. Not beyond state lines, though, at this point with this one.
Nope, yeah,
Still no.
nothing with no seal box or anything like that.
Okay.
We're hoping they'll come back and hang out with us again soon to get some more cigar cask out to the people. But yeah, just OHLQ for this one, and then come probably Halloween again. We'll do another batch. I don't know if that's official.
Trying to make it a little bit larger, possibly.
Yeah, compared to last batch 4 was about 2,000 bottles. So this being just shy of 1,000, I mean, we're looking, like I said, it's a lot smaller.
Is there a reason for it that you did it like that, or is that just how the project turned out?
Based
on where you ended up with,
depending on how it sells, we might have more. But
okay, I got you.
The thought was to keep it small, the sort of novelty, limited labeling and stuff like that. So
yeah, not trying to run into our release later in the year too much. Especially
that makes sense.
Yeah,
you don't want to have batch 5 sitting there and then batch 6 comes out and you're like, all right, we don't. Which one do you want? 3 through 6? Like we got it all here. That's not good business either, obviously.
No.
Yeah, you guys said you did 1,000 bottles. Is that 1,000 total, like media bottles, retail bottles, like 1,000 total?
I think it was like 930 bottles, and then some of them were taken for samples. But yeah.
So obviously some of those were samples, some were media bottles, like what you guys were nice enough to send us. So of the remaining bottles that were not held for media and stuff like that, how many are you guys going to be selling at your guys' place, and how many is going out to OHLQ?
It's a good question. Is there a limited amount on Thursday and Friday, or is it like first count? Like we got 900 bottles.
Thursday and Friday should determine how many bottles Grandview, Gahanna, and Westerville will get allocated.
Okay.
I believe that Groveport got 40 cases.
Mhm.
Green got 8 cases.
Yeah. So we're
And
sitting
then,
on
yeah.
probably around 40 cases.
Another 40
which-
here on site.
A
Right now.
case is 6 bottles for us. So that'll be between what sells Thursday and Friday here, and then into our bottle shops over the coming.
Will
time.
more be released to OHOQ if you guys have some?
I think it'll depend on how
Probably you probably won't have some, but if that were to happen, if you're like, all right, let's release a little bit more here,
It could.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see it being, because I mean, I was just at the Westerville location on Friday night in that like windstorm because our power was out. So my wife at 3 o'clock working from home, she's like, well, meet me at High Bank in Westerville for happy hour because she had to finish up working. Huh?
You probably saw my wife. She's the GM there.
Probably did. Yeah, probably. We were there. We ended up down on the speakeasy as well after that. So we made the most of a windy happy hour because our power was still off. But yeah, I had a little bit of, I assume, I didn't even ask what batch it was, but I think it was the number 4, I'd imagine.
I'm assuming batch 4 was there.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, it would have been 4.
Well,
I was talking to a couple people about like, yeah, so like, have you had the new one? They're like, no, we want to. You know, they're all kind of jealous of it.
Well, if you guys need to offload some of the previous batches, if there's any, transfer them to my store and we'll get them. We'll get them sold.
All right.
Yeah.
Is this year still coming in at $99.99?
Yes.
Yeah.
Same
Okay.
retail. Yep.
Yeah. So Adam is a graphic designer by trade. I don't know if you guys talked about that when he was on, but yeah, he just wanted to throw that basketball label on, and with it just being an addition to the logo and nothing else changed, we didn't have to register anything else.
Got it.
So SKU stays the same, price stays the same, just a simple logo change.
No, I think it's very, I mean, of course it's fun
It
to
looks
see
sweet,
that, right?
Yeah, it looks like it was supposed to be there the whole time.
Right.
Maybe we'll keep
Absolutely.
it.
Just don't try to dribble that,
Yeah.
please.
Don't what?
Don't dribble that.
No, absolutely not. I don't even know if I can dribble this. It's very inflated though. It's good. It's got some good action there.
Amy does good. Yeah, she does good work.
She really does. All right. So do you want to do some ratings on this?
Sure.
All right. So at the end of part 1 of this, before we transition, again, you guys are welcome to stay on for part 2 if you guys are having some sips and just see where it goes. You can duck out at any time.
Yeah.
If you guys think that we're crazy talking about just other things, that's fine too. We're good with that. We'll just keep drinking by ourselves in the garage and see if anyone wants to listen to us. But we do rating time, whiskey, cigar, and the pairing. You guys can't do, obviously, the cigar this time. It's out of 10, 10 being the best. You do 3 different ratings. So for you guys, you know, I'm curious. I'll actually stick it to you first with just out of 10 for this product, 10 being the best. Where are we at? We can do decimal points. You don't have to go out to the hundredths like you guys did, but you can go out a little bit if you want. Just tell us what you think, however you want to rate it, compared to other cigar casks, compared to your other portfolio, or just absolutely open.
Wow, that's a big.
Trying to keep my job here.
Yeah, that's a big question. Yeah.
No,
Hey, whatever. I mean, I'm not. Hopefully, you don't say like 2.
I give it a bad rating. So
Yeah, maybe we call it it's a 9.9 because it's great, but it can always get a little better, right?
Smart, good. That was very smooth.
fine.
You can't have that one. You got to put your own score.
Well, I'll just do 10.
10.
You're gonna do 10.
Peaked.
All
It's as
right.
good as you're gonna get.
No, it's not as good as I'm going to get.
Everything's got to be
Oh,
as good.
Better. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. They always got to tell me it's done. But,
So you're not going to stick with 10. You're a perfectionist. Is this it? Is this a 10?
no, it's not. I think it's fantastic, but it's not my 10.
I got you. All right. Is
But
there?
I'm
Let me ask you this. Is there another product in the whiskey? Let's stick with Whiskey War. Another product in the Whiskey War portfolio, limited or otherwise, that you personally prefer over the cigar cask? Obviously, we're talking, you guys think highly of this. If anyone's been listening for the first part of this show, everyone thinks highly of this flavor profile. But is there one that you look forward to or you prefer over this is your go-to?
Yeah, Dodo. That's
Yeah.
I think Adam, James, and anybody in the distillery, Dodo's where we're gonna live.
That's
That's double, I assume.
double oak. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That or anything in the PX barrel that we have back here. I'm a big PX finish guy. I think our Whiskey War does fantastic in it, even though Adam
The
doesn't
sherry
seem to-
cask, I assume.
Yeah, Pedro
Yeah,
Jimenez Sherry.
yeah.
I'm trying to translate, for people that don't know.
Sorry, yeah. It's kind of like the cigars on our end.
Right, absolutely. Understood. You too, as well?
Yeah, I'm a double guy. Yeah, and I do really like the cigar, and I think it is really good.
Yep.
But this is like a special occasion. Once in a while, the double I feel like I could crush.
Well, I find myself wanting to get back to the traditional whiskey flavor profile.
I can see that. I can see
I
that.
remember the last time we had Adam on, he was actually here in the garage, old garage.
Yeah.
And we had all 4 of the core products. The
Was he in the garage?
He was.
Okay. We had him on a couple times.
Yeah, it was
That's
know,
right.
Black Label, Green Label, Double, and then Double. And like they just kept getting better as you move through the portfolio.
That's right, because we had 2 different batches of the Double, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had one inside. Yeah, when we first had him on, it was like 2020. Things were open back up, but they're like when Rudy and Adam were on, and they're like, I don't think it's going to be a great look because things were starting to open back up. But they're like, I don't think that'd be a great look for us to be in your garage, like next to you without masks on. So I get them confused sometimes.
Whiskey will kill it.
Right. What do you think, Nate? Rating?
On the whiskey, I'm going to give this batch a 9. It has a lingering, so I don't mind spice on a whiskey. Like I'll drink anything from 80 to 145. I don't care. I don't have any issue with spice. And this has a spice that lingers on the lips and on the palate. But when I think of cigar cask, I kind of want a little bit more of that apple pie note. And this batch to me has a little bit more cinnamon and spice than some of the previous batches. Still a great whiskey, but I almost kind of miss a little bit more of that food flavor in this particular batch. Like I said, I wish I brought batch 3. Maybe when I go home tonight, I'll crack that one open before I go to bed and, see how the night ends up. But no,
after you said that you're going to.
Why not? But no, it's still something that I look forward every time you guys do it. Like I said, I work in a liquor store and I get people every now and then that are asking, because now they see the double on our shelves fairly consistently. And, and I'm the one that brought the batch 1 of the barrel proof bourbon on the show. I bought my second bottle before I ever finished the first one.
That's right.
So I have customers that are asking for this product. So it's something that I look forward to getting. And, I definitely am excited to hear that in the future. It might be bigger batches, even though still limited, bigger batches. So like I said, if there's anything I can help do to sell it, you know where I work.
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah.
For even being as big as it was, I think we were out of everything in our warehouse. I mean, a month later,
it went quick.
I think by the end of the year, we were out of everything here in house. So that's quick.
That's pretty good for a local distillery that their product didn't leave Ohio. Like that's
right. Just selling locally, which is
and at $100 a bottle. I mean, at $100 a bottle, that's one of the most expensive local whiskeys in the state.
For sure. Yeah.
And it's still something that people are looking forward to and selling out. So
sure. What do you think about the cigar?
The cigar on its own, I'm at a 7.5. I like the flavor. I think, like I said earlier, it burns a little fast. I wish there was another half leaf or something in that fill to just kind of tighten up that draw. Or the next time I smoke one, do a punch cut instead of a straight cut on it and see if that tightens it up just a little bit and slows it down. Because it has good flavor. It's just, I mean, we're not even an hour into it, and I'm, this is a 6-inch 54 ring gauge, and I'm down to the last couple inches of the cigar. Normally, I want a cigar that size to last me at least an hour and a half.
Here's what I will say about this before you go too far, and not to bore you guys with this. Not having frame of reference, talking about price. This cigar MSRP $8.99.
Okay, I'll take it. I thought it was going to be more in line with the regular Flathead line, which now is coming, like $12-13 I think for this size, somewhere around there.
So average price point of cigars now, average, every day you're looking at probably 12, 14, right? 12, 13, 14. So this is sub $10.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is anymore, it's very difficult to find. Besides, like you go down to like a bundle cigar side of it, where now you're at like $3 to $5. Then you have kind of, you know, that 5 to 10 or so is almost like a desert now. I mean, it's like no one out there, right? It's so now you have like CAO as part of a bigger parent company, and they are really trying to fill that gap, I feel like. And so $8.99 before tobacco tax and sales tax and all that stuff.
$9 for a cigar that smokes this. Okay. I can live with that. If I was still paying, you know, $12, $13 for it, I'd have an issue. You know, because I like a cigar that does last a long time. And because this one burns a little quick and feels a little soft, this is not a cigar I'd want to smoke in my car.
No, it's got a flaky ash. That's my worst thing. So
the ash is very flaky. Like,
wrapper's beautiful though.
Don't do an ash. Oh, the wrapper is gorgeous. It's got a nice little sheen to it, nice little oiliness. It's smooth.
Yeah. What about the pairing? You already alluded to that.
The pairing on this one, I'm probably going to be like in the 6.5 range with the pairing, just because the products are better by themselves than they are together. This whiskey, it's got so much flavor, and it's a high proof. It just overwhelms the cigar a little bit. Like, to what Steve talked about, you have to sit there and spend time on the cigar and go back to the whiskey occasionally. Yeah. You can't sit there and like try and have them both equally.
Yeah. Which I'll piggyback off of that. I mean, I kind of like that, just for the simple fact that starting with the pairing, I'll say it is kind of a 7 going whiskey to cigar, cigar to whiskey. It's more of like a 8.5. Which goes with this, because at the proof, and this drinks, I think it drinks to the proof, right? You're just, under 120. So it's like, it's not like overbearingly hot or anything like that. It's got the cinnamon side of it. So you kind of can mistake that for the heat maybe, but it doesn't really like get you back here. It is all on the palate. So I think the proof, it's a kind of a deceiving thing, right? So if you like the flavor, but it's more of a sipping whiskey. To your guys' point, this isn't like your go-to every day. This is not a daily sipper. If this was available all the time, and say it's not $100, say it's $50, say it's, always on the shelf, you're able to mass produce this product, it's still, I don't think, would be most people's daily sippers. No. So I think that's what I like about it to a point. And when we light this Profundo up, that's a stronger cigar. So you might get your wish there to see if you actually do like it. My prediction is I like this a little bit better, because you're smoking the cigar, you're talking to good people, you're hanging out, and you take a sip of whiskey. It kind of paces yourself a little bit, as opposed to this with like a strong, like weeded bourbon that's really sweet or whatever, and you're just like going back and forth the whole time. Next thing you know, you're falling over drunk because you're having such a good time. The whiskey, never happened. The whiskey, yeah, I'm right around that 9. I do really like the I guess general cigar branded, however you want to say it, cask, blend, whatever. I do like those projects. I do like this. This is super flavorful. It's always a treat. So I think it fits in with your guys' limit. And I'm not, blowing smoke up your ass, but like it's nice. It's good to have every once in a while. The only negative of being like a limited one is that you don't want to dip into it. This is the one that, unfortunately, you kill it with some buddies or whatever, or you take your last couple pours, you're kind of pissed. You're a little bit sad. This is something you're like, all right, when did they say the next one's coming out? And you hope it's going to be somewhere close to it. Yeah. Or it sits there on your shelf with, this much in it, and you look at it, you're like, is this that? Yeah, I will have another pour of that, but you don't pour too much of it because you don't want to run out of it.
You do a 1-finger pour, not a 2-finger pour.
I don't know what that means. The cigar, I'm solid 8. This is, for that sub $10. Again, CAO's been doing this with the Fossil line. This has been doing, so General Cigars, they saw it, they're doing it. And just so I know you guys aren't as familiar, they have a whole portfolio, much like Altadis behind us. They have this like big portfolio of big names. General Cigars, STG Group, they have a lot, and they're coming out. This is their, I don't want to say their only strategy, but Cohiba, normally a lot of Cohibas, that's their premier line. You're looking at $20+. They introduced a few years back a Cohiba Blue at like 16, 15 or whatever. They just came out with the Cohiba Rubicon, which is around $11. So like they are seeing this void that a lot of the boutique companies, where like you guys would kind of come in more of like a boutique, like local, but not really local. They're not able to really hit that as easily because they don't have the mass numbers as far as tobacco and capability. So that's where I think it's hitting what they're trying to do. It's medium body, so anyone can really enjoy smoking it. The wrapper's beautiful. Construction it's a little airy, you know. Oddly enough, I think besides the ash falling off, it's got the draw of like a Padron, so it does have that kind of higher end.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Which is nice. But I mean, when you come out with a below average price point with a good flavor, you've accomplished that. And they took a swing with going off of the Flathead name because it's kind of a staple in their portfolio. And that did go up in price, much like everything else did since 2020, 2021.
Wasn't that like the first blend Ricky did with them?
It wasn't the first, but it was
the biggest.
The biggest.
Yeah. By
so
far.
That's the previous master blender for CAO. Now he's off on his own. But so yeah, that's absolutely where I'm at with this. I think it's a good pairing, but it's just how you're enjoying the pairing, which I think, you know, if you guys start getting more into cigars. And it was funny. I know we already talked about it, but I will put it up on the stage. You know, you guys know Ann Dimmick?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's been here several times. She says, will you guys be heading to the garage next time for the full Bourbon and BS experience?
And we tried. We got shot down.
Too cold.
No,
They were. You were looking out for us.
Yes, it's not the greatest time. So springtime, something like that, will get you guys out here.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a little warmer. It's like in the winter and the summer, this is not the greatest studio because we either have fans going or we have a heater going right now. So it's always different. But spring, fall, it's the best time to do it. With that being said, we'll roll into part two.
Foggy in there, so you guys are still looking good.
That's good. Good. Do you guys want to stick around for a little bit and try part two, or what are you thinking?
That's fun.
All right. So with that being said, we'll go into the topic. But cheers, guys! Happy Whiskey Wednesday. Nice.
Oh, thanks. I gotta wait.
Now you guys are empty.
Oh, you can't cheers.
We'll wait.
Cheers, an empty glass.
There you go.
Cheers, guys.
All right. So with the basketball
Slunch
theme, topics take the shot. So part two of this podcast, we kind of go off, and this is back in the day, especially, it kind of got off the rails sometimes because it went really long. We're trying to keep it a little bit more controlled these days, which is good. Showing maturity, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
We have families.
We have families. Yeah. Kristen doesn't like it to be understandably so. I don't like it the next day. So it's much better this way. But so take the shot. The way let's see how I describe this here. All right, take the shot.
Get your readers on.
Try to get my readers on. Since it's March Madness season, tonight's part two topic is take the shot. And yeah, it starts with basketball, but it's really about life. A lot of people spend their whole lives pump faking, waiting, overthinking, looking for the perfect moment that never comes. Meanwhile, the people who actually get somewhere are usually the ones willing to step up, live the result, and take the shot. You might miss, you might look stupid, you might get judged, but definitely won't score by standing there holding the ball.
He's got a great way with
Well
words,
said.
doesn't he?
Yeah.
So that being said, you guys, let's start with you guys. You guys, moving on, you guys both bartenders, right? You said?
Yeah.
Mixologist. Is that still the term, mixologist, or is it back to bartending? I like bartenders.
Yeah.
What do you think?
My grandpa always said that I was tending bar. So bartender,
that.
yeah.
Love that.
I liked
That's
it when
even
he
better.
said it, and I was like, all right, it sounds way better that way. I don't really ever say that.
Yeah, I think a lot of mixologists think mixologist sounds too pretentious, so they call themselves a bartender, which I think is
There you
fair.
But
Well, I feel like bartenders were
not all bartenders are mixologists.
That's fair.
Yeah. Mixologist just sounds like you're over engineering the shit out of everything. It's like an Audi.
Yeah. James is over here trying to make a margarita.
Yeah, right.
Fixation
But
mind for
so-
that.
Coming into this side of the industry, though, I mean, that's like career-wise. How did that happen? I guess as far as with you, Dylan, you were you approached by Adam? Was this like something that was a job posting, or what happened?
I'll kind of shout my wife out because she kind of took the original shot. She was working elsewhere and took a step away from that. She was working at a different restaurant, but stopped working there and opened High Bank. Day one as a server lead, manager. She's kind of done everything front of house.
This is the original in Grandview.
Yeah. So she was the one that kind of got me the job initially as a bartender here. And then, pandemic kind of unfortunately came around and we were able to fill a lane with hand sanitizer for people that weren't able to get it themselves. So rather than sit at home, I stepped in and helped Adam and Mike produce that. And not really a shot. I actually have very good handwriting. So I just kind of got lucky that one day they needed barrel proof done. And Adam, being from an artistic background, liked the way that my handwriting looked on the bottles and
no kid
asked me to come back. So
is this you writing the proof?
at.
Is this your handwriting I'm looking at?
It might be.
but it might also be our secret weapon. Megan, one of our tour guides, helps out and does night production for us.
So I'm not trying to be rude. If this is your handwriting, the 5858 here, that is very bubbly. I'm gonna say it's Megan.
This might be Mike.
This is Mike, I think.
Yeah, it might be Mike.
Is that also
Another graduate of CCAD? So
Yeah. So I think this is Mike.
hypercritical of them.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, the 5858. It looks almost like it's like printed on there, like with like a font that you kind of create. Don't say that. Amy,
Sorry, buddy.
that's gonna be the sound bite.
Pause.
Who writes their 7 where the horizontal line's got a dip in it?
It's artistic.
Yeah, that might be Dylan.
Oh, then this might be you then, because it
Maybe.
almost looks like a short 4.
Yeah, that's probably me.
Yeah, I crossed my 7, so that's not me.
Mhm.
Quick question before we go.
Wait,
into
actually, that's the margarita.
Yeah, we already started talking about
margarita. Okay.
Margarita pizza flavored margarita.
Yikes.
it. It was a hyperfixation for a little bit. I never got it right, if you can believe it. Didn't taste good.
No.
Sounds
Yeah,
It's
I almost
engineering for sure.
I almost got back into here in spite of my handwriting, because I don't have the it's gotten better over time. Numbers I'm pretty good with, but you start asking me to write words, it runs together, it doesn't look so
Don't
good.
ask him to write.
Got it.
I write in cursive, so
They don't even teach that anymore.
Yeah, I don't
No.
know. I think I can sign my name, but
Yeah.
that's as far as cursive as I go, probably.
Well done. So
Thank
taking the shot. So doing this is something that, again, with you guys starting off, this is a great way to kind of do this, is that doing these projects, again, as I was kind of joking around earlier, messing up or like trying to come up with a margarita. These are like, as long as you're not using top shelf stuff, these aren't like big risks, right? You're doing one cocktail.
Mhm.
Doing this type of stuff, this takes balls. This is something that you don't want to mess up an entire barrel or so.
2.5 barrels.
2.5 for this, but I just mean in general. You're like, hey, let's experiment with a finish. Now, granted, you can always, hopefully, if it's not what you want, you can try to blend it in with something else later. You're not losing the entire product. But I mean, this is something that especially when you first do just a pure bourbon, right? And you're putting it in there. This is a year-long or several years long project that we're going to sit on this for 4 years at least and see where we're at. Like, talk about taking a shot, especially with your own money, like, as far as with like Adam and the company, but with you guys coming in now, you're using other people's money. This is your livelihood still, though. You don't want to fuck it up. You want to do well. You want to like really impress it. But like now, if you do something on, obviously with the new High Bank side of your own juice, like this is something that it's got to be a little bit intimidating coming in. That's when I asked you earlier, like, how did you get into it? How did you learn how to do this? I mean, how do you guys handle that as far as the experimentation with this? Or is this just like, if I mess up, I mess up, like I gave my best shot? Is there a thought process? Are you nervous? Like, I mean, where are we at with that?
I mean, it's hard not to be, especially when you're working with the dollar amounts of whiskey that we are. I mean, especially, I think just off the top of my head, the last batch of cigar, batch 4, it was a batch that was, I mean, probably north of $100,000 that we're talking about. So yeah, there is, I think, good nerves. Obviously, it means that we care about what we're doing in the product that we're trying to put out. Yes, there's a side that is experimental, but there's still, you can't. That's, I feel like, more of a lane that a single barrel would fill. When we're working with bigger batches, we're trying to, it doesn't all have to be the same. I mean, batch to batch, even barrel proofs are going to have sway. Batches of double oaked have sway. These all have sway. So there's an acceptable flavor profile usually that we're going to try to stick between, but as far as,
Have you messed up yet?
there's stuff back here that does not taste good. I don't think that James or I were in the positions that we were, but I also think that is tainted barrels. It wasn't the whiskey that went into it that was bad by any means. They were the two off the top of my head are ports that I think that just turned before we put whiskey into them. And
I think there's times where I've had people's single barrels from, not you guys, but I've had single barrels.
I can think of one right off the top of my head.
Don't say who it is. Might be thinking about the same one. But like, your reaction is you're like, well, it's unique.
yes.
But it's like that whole, you know, again, like the mixologist versus bartender. It's kind of like single barrel versus like, oh, this is our single barrel. And they take a sip of it. And it's like, it's almost like when you say like, it's art. Do you get it? Like, you know, you take a sip of it and you're like, well, that's unique. And you're like, oh, you don't like it? Because it's very like everyone likes it, or like you almost like sell them on the fact that like this single barrel and whoever picked it could have actually liked it. But I've had some that I'm like, so I don't want to finish that. Like, this is really
that's kind of where we have to dance between when we're trying to present single barrels to people. Yeah. We usually either try to present something that's like a heightened version of what our batches would be, or standalone, or something that's kind of a little bit off the beaten path. So you might have gotten one of those.
Like I said, it wasn't yours.
No, but yeah, the batches, it's really you reeling yourself in a little bit. Like, is this something that I really like, or is this something that other people are going to like? Because I mean, there's stuff that I like that probably nobody else here likes. So me putting something out that continuously is something that only I like isn't beneficial for it.
And that's what's nice about having a couple people back there. We can sort of bounce it around each other and like, okay, this is the consensus top two. Okay, what actually is good for everybody. And that's what's, I think, interesting about doing the barrel picks as well, as we've talked to people who come in and be like, yeah, like we went to whatever place and they rolled out the 5 worst barrels they had that they were trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
Because they just want to sell it, right? And they don't blend, versus when we do it, it's sort of with intention of like, oh, this is cool and unique and still good.
We've never had anything rejected.
Yeah, I've done. I've been fortunate enough to do a couple of OHLQ barrel picks. One was an annual barrel pick release that they do. And then the other one was one for Single Barrel Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Yeah.
And, you know, one of the things I learned from that is, you know, yes, it can't just be what you like, because different people have different flavor profiles. My favorite one that I did, we were doing 15 barrels, and I was the only person not from OHLQ there. And I told them my favorite 3. And they're like, all right, what else? And I went, well, how many are we doing? Because there's 15 options. If you tell me we're doing 5, okay, now it's a discussion. Like, well, we can do up to 12. I was like, cool. I've got 3 that need to go away. Right off the bat, let's get these 3 away.
It's an easy way to do it.
And then there was 2 barrels that the consensus was they were very similar, but one was just this barrel amped up. And I said, well, then why do we even need the other barrel? Like, let's not have 2 barrels that are the same thing.
So no, 100%. It's honestly, it's kind of the exact process that we're going through when we're trying to pick barrels out as well. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine. I mean, Steve and I, we've had experience. And I don't know if this is the brand Steve was talking about, and I'm not going to say who it was. There was a pub that did a barrel pick of it. OHLQ did a barrel pick of it. And then they have single barrel as a regular release. And I tried those 2 and then 3 other single barrels. So I had 5 bottles of single barrel from this one company. I liked 1.
Oof, that's not good. Just stop the single barrel program.
To this day, I have not bought another single barrel bourbon from that company. I've bought their rye. I've bought some other stuff from them, but I just can't bring myself to take the chance when I'm batting 200 on a single barrel.
You're not going to make the team.
Well, and that's what's so important about nailing your releases, because for a lot of people, what they try of that release, that's the first thing they've had, and it could be the last thing they have if it's not good.
Yeah.
So like doing a throwaway, oh whatever, they'll buy it, they'll take this barrel, but if it's not good, like, do we really want it to go out yet? We'll do something with it.
With the bottles being as expensive as they are, the premiumization of like this industry, I feel like people are kind of leaning into the single barrels. And if, like James said, if that's your miss, then people are probably not going to spend the time to buy your core products, your batched products. So
I've even experienced that on the wine side. Have distributors that come to us wanting to do private label wines for our store. And I'll sit there with the director and we'll taste these wines and we'll look at each other going, I don't want my reputation on that.
No.
I don't want to put our company's name on that bottle. Like, that's just not what I want us to be. Like, we got to find something else or someone else. Like,
yeah. If it doesn't serve a purpose for us to release it, it doesn't serve a purpose for us to allow somebody else to put their name on it as well, to be honest.
No, absolutely. All right. So here's what to take a shot here. This can go with your guys' business. It can go with anything else in your life. But how many people in life lose because they missed versus because they never even took the shot?
What's the Office quote? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
Right?
Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott. No, I think this is something like when you deal with and you can do it with the whiskey stuff, but I mean, just in general, you know what I mean? Like, for you, Dylan, you brought up your wife a few times, stuff like that. These are those types of situations, I don't know if you guys have kids. I don't, Nate doesn't, but it's like those types of life lessons. I feel like, if you are hesitant, if you, you don't necessarily take that shot, you don't, start the conversation, you don't apply for the job, you don't do, something, you don't finish a barrel in something because you're too afraid to mess it up. And then you see someone else talking to the girl, someone else coming out with a whiskey product. I mean, there's a lot of easy ways to have parallels here, but I mean, if you guys are out there and you're thinking about it, it's consuming you, and you just don't take the shot. I mean, if you pump fake it or you hold on to the ball, the buzzer,
pass it to someone else.
They miss. I mean, it's something that just, how do you guys deal with that? I mean, like, what do you think of that kind of question?
No, I think, especially like you said, going back to children, I am fortunate to have two children. So I think that I would much rather have my kids take the shot and miss and not be hesitant about it. I mean, that's exactly what I would want to do. Like you said, I think it's going to weigh on you a lot more if you don't take the shot, mentally, physically. I think grief is going to be a lot harder on you if you don't. So,
Nate, any thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, I've had experience on both sides, either not taking the shot or taking the shot and missing. I mean, many years ago, I left a career and took a chance on something I wanted to do, and I enjoyed doing that for the time I was. Unfortunately, it didn't work out the way I wanted it to, and it was kind of a reset. I mean, well, not a reset; it was a giant step back, and I had to just kind of had to start from nothing and just build back up. And the one issue that did bring about was I was then very hesitant to ever take a chance on an opportunity again. Or, if I did, if there was an opportunity to get back into that particular type of role and industry, it had to be a really good fit. And there was a time where I was talking to the person in charge, like the person who would have been my boss, and it just wasn't a good fit with that person. Just butted heads even on the phone, with it not even being insulting. It's just, I'm saying something that's just how I grew up and they're taking offense to it. And it's not like I was cussing during an interview, but like,
maybe that was the problem.
No, the problem was I referred to this person as sir on the phone. That was the problem. They didn't like to be called sir because they were a sergeant in the Army. Anyone who's ever served in the military knows that issue. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think you and I are going to get along. Let's just go ahead and end this right now. But kind of similar to Dylan's story, where I'm at now, my wife was actually working with the company just as a part-time gig before me. And then I got invited with her to the annual employee appreciation event and found out someone else was leaving the company. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I ended up meeting with the director and ended up scheduling an interview for the next week. And, honestly, he gave me an interview, I think, just because my wife worked for him. And after our first phone call, he goes, you know what? This went a lot better than I was expecting. We should
That's a compliment, but
yeah,
kind of in the pants, man.
This went a lot better than I was expecting.
I thought you were going to suck.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think he only did it because Jess worked there. But no, so then the next week he and I met and had like an hour and a half long interview at a brewery in town. And after that, offered me the job. And it was a very different thing, because at that point I was 8 years into working for a Fortune 200 company that's headquartered here in Columbus. And it was something that was more in tune with what I like to do and what I like to talk about. And I thought I'd be more useful doing that than doing what I was doing. And so it was definitely scary leaving.
More passion to it, right? Yeah.
Definitely more passion. Yeah. But, my parents were both the kind that, they got a job and they stayed at that job. My dad started with UPS at age 18 and then retired at 55 from UPS. That was it. That was
nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. It built him a great life. He was able to retire at 55. So kudos to him.
Rarer.
Now. Yes, it is rare now.
Who's laughing now, right?
Exactly. Yeah, my college degree over here and him, working his ass off for 30 years, he might come out ahead. But no, it was one of those things, because of that previous missed shot. I kind of had the fear of taking that shot again, but then, just things lined up, things meshed well. And I was like, all right, let's give it a chance.
So it goes right into this one. Is it better to take your shot and fail publicly? This could apply to your guys' products as well. But you don't have to talk about business, or play it safe and always wonder what would have happened. I think you took that chance, obviously, based on that story. Didn't work out.
Yeah. But I mean, I think part of that also was I had the wrong mindset as to what that role was.
Okay.
I still believe I could be very successful at that role if I'd gotten in with a different company.
The right fit.
Yeah, it's got to be the right fit. That was definitely not a company just based on the people I was working with, and how they conducted themselves on trips and stuff. Like, I could tell I was the outsider of the group. There are definitely other companies in the industry that, if the right opportunity presented itself, I would love to have taken a chance with them. Some it's just like, no, that's not cool. I can make 70 grand doing that and traveling to 10 states, or I can make 55 grand and just work from home. It's like, it's like, how much is your time worth at home?
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you guys?
Yeah. It's an interesting thought, right? Do you regret doing, or do you regret not doing? Like which is more significant?
But I think
on top of that, with this, it's like, are you okay failing publicly?
Yeah, failing publicly, obviously, that's just an amplified version of, that's going to take things to a magnitude much higher than if you're failing in the privacy or in the safety of your own home.
Sure.
But you're not going to really achieve anything if you're playing it safe. I mean, that's, again,
sure.
Are you really going to be happy with what you've achieved or what you're doing with your life if you're playing it safe the entire time and you're fantasizing about something else?
I think this is something. This is not. This is just random kind of questions on the topic
Mhm.
here. I think this is something that you said you have 2 kids,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so this is something that you said you'd rather them take the shot. This is in today's world, not to get too big picture here, but I think there is so much fear to fail anymore, especially because publicly is different than before. Your family knew, your friends might know, people you used to work with get fired from a job, like, okay, whatever. But like now that you share these days so much, online and everything's available, this like if they care to find out, even if they don't care to find out, they find out and they just don't care. But like it's public is different now. It's bigger, it's broader, it's everything. And you have a lot of these and I say younger people, but just of all ages anymore that I think they're frozen. They're on social media. They're on like these things where it's like they're afraid to put out the reality, not because they want to project a false reality, but I think there is something here that they're afraid that if what they're doing, the project they're doing, the job they're proud they just got, if they fail at it, it's almost scarier because more people know about it. There's more embarrassment, there's shame. Before it was like, oh man, my parents are gonna be so pissed. Going back years ago. Now it's gonna be like, hey, I haven't seen you post about this recently. I haven't seen, what's the new, what cigars are you guys doing? What whiskeys are you doing? How, you just post that vacation. How's everything going? And all of a sudden you're like, well, things at home aren't good.
Yeah.
Well, in the past, things at home aren't good. Like you said, it's kind of like private. It's something you held in and only like choice few knew about. Now you've just been posting for the last 5 years that you got the greatest job. You just got a new house and, you're happily married with a family. And then all of a sudden it's like you stop posting. You're like, how's everything going? I mean, like there's like this bigger risk, I feel like, that needs to be taught. It's okay. You don't have to post everything. You don't have to make everything public. But if it's okay to fail, and most people that you're afraid are judging you, they're not. They've failed.
Yeah.
They would rather talk to you and say like, oh shit, like, do you need anything? Is there anything like, do you need to talk or something like that? But it's like, there's so much like potential embarrassment of failing that there are a lot more people that play it safe. And then they're sitting there in this constant wonder of like, man, I could have been, happier. I could have done something. I could have been in a different life situation. 5-10 years have passed you by. So, I mean, is it better to fail or like try it and fail? Or is it better just to kind of, I'm not going to take any chances in the effort that no one will see me fail? They're not going to maybe see me succeed, but what's better or worse?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's kind of like, what is this an actual representation of you on an everyday basis, or is this a one-off thing? I mean, because going back to the social media thing, there's judgment whether you're doing it successfully or you're not. So you're getting judged whether you're the best at it or you're the worst at it. And if you're somewhere in between, that's where you're probably seeing the harshest criticism, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But if this is not an everyday representation of you, going back to kids, I'd rather have somebody see me be a bad dad one time and publicly, and that than not have kids in general, because that's not representative of the father that I am. I know that how people see me one time in public is, not representative of how I take care of my children. So if they see me at my worst at one day, then unfortunately they don't have the opportunity to see me every day.
Well, and the people that really know you and care about you know which one you are.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So it's kind of, and mentally it's hard to weigh those because the people that know me might be few and far between. Whereas if you're on social media, you're opening yourself up to the masses.
Yeah. As humans, I think it's like evolutionarily, we're supposed to we're built to contain a network of like 200 or 300 people max. Like these are all the people that are in your tribe or that you know and can know. And so now with the world, it's like, oh, you have 1 million people that are going to see what you do or that are at your fingertips. It's like, oh, well, that's scary. And I think that's like a great foil to that question. It's like everybody's going to see it.
Yeah.
And so do you not do it because they're gonna, or do you feel like you still have to?
Yeah.
That's it.
I think a big thing is, you know, you don't have to share everything, obviously, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you're proud of stuff, I mean, it's great to do that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with posting the positive. And sometimes, I mean, obviously within reason, there's nothing wrong with like sharing with people that are close to you, or even through social media, you know, if you are struggling. I mean, because there are, for everyone that you think is going to judge you or think less of you, most of the time it's everyone is, you know, they're proud of you when you're doing well. And there's also the other side of it is that if you do show vulnerability, there's probably even more people that are like, oh shit, I'm going through the same thing, or I've dealt with that. You know, and you reach out to that. There's no wrong thing to do. I do think that sometimes there is a medium ground, just like a lot of things. You know, you don't want to just keep taking shots and you know, constantly failing because you're not doing it, you know, with kind of like a premeditation, with like a planning, with all that stuff. You're just literally like a loose cannon. And you're like, oh, he's trying again, you know. But I think that is a big part of it, is that you do need to try to take some of the shots if you can, in my opinion.
Yeah, as long as they're not shots in the dark, I think you're good.
Yeah, I was going to say
blindfolded. Yeah, it's bad.
Damn it, I was getting ready to say there's a difference between throwing darts and throwing darts blindfolded.
Yeah.
After being spun around.
Right. It's fun though, either way.
With blindfold, pretty cool.
That's right. All right, here's one for each of us here. Have you ever had a moment in your life where taking the shot changed everything?
Man, this guy's hitting hard.
Yeah.
You guys could say yes.
Let's hear it. You got one? Did something pop up, or you say like this is a tough one?
No, I just looking at the question there. I feel like he's asking all the hard hitting questions.
Hey man,
that's what we do here.
Part two, man.
So,
you said you stuck around, so
it's
better than me asking Nate the questions. You know, just the two of us.
Yeah. No, I mean the whole thing about the part two is it's kind of like if you guys have ever, you know, you guys aren't big cigar guys, but if you've ever hung out in a cigar shop, like this is the kind of conversations that you'll see at a really good cigar shop. You'll have a group of guys just
same after
around.
you sipped different whiskeys. You know what I mean?
Well, sometimes the guys at the cigar shop bring whiskey too.
It's true.
But no, you just end up sitting around and you talk about life, and you know, especially when there's a new person that comes in, it's like, oh, you start asking questions about them. Like, all right, you know, what do you do? Who are you? Because nowhere do you find such a broad variety of people than in a cigar lounge. And, you know, you find everyone from any walk of life. And so that's why it's a great melting pot.
I think the same thing about whiskey. I think I always liked being up front in the front of the house bartending, but I think the people that are a part of this side of things are a lot more my kin, my speed.
Yeah. So what is it? What have you had that moment? I feel like no one's really answering that question. I mean,
I guess I could go a little. I'd say for me, it's this.
Yeah.
Because I graduated from Ohio State. I have a degree in anthropology. So I was a bartender. I'm
a social major, so I took anthropology classes. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So I mean, I loved it.
4-year degree, it's great.
I really enjoyed it, and then I graduated. I was like, oh, this isn't going to give me, a real job. And so I'd always been, interested in bartending. I was a server and a bar back and stuff in high school and through college. And so I sort of fell into this, and then it's like, oh, these are good people. Sort of, I was, 2 days a week helping out in the distillery in the back. And it's like, oh, this is, I could do this.
Sure.
And so it's sort of taking that jump of like, no, I want to, I don't want to bartend anymore. I want to start working back this way, doing more of this, and sort of really taking that jump to step into it. And so far it's been good.
Yeah.
I like it.
2 years, here we are.
So far so good.
Yeah. Between stepping back to the distillery side of things and parenthood, I mean, both those things have kind of changed my life. I think I was a great bartender, but I think that I've definitely excelled a lot more back here.
Okay.
I've come into my own more so than
Nate. How about you?
Well, I would say, probably the most recent one was 3 years ago, choosing to leave corporate to work in a wine and liquor store. there was like I said, there was an opportunity, and the opportunity I was initially brought on for ended up not being given to me because the person I was replacing came back. So it kind of changed everything a little bit. But I could have, when I found out, just be like, well, I'm done. I'm going to just stay where I'm at now. But I decided, no, I'm going to go through with this because I wasn't necessarily the happiest where I was. And, sitting there and interacting with customers is one of the things that I really value, whether it be at the cigar shop, the wine shop, like just talking to customers, explaining things, helping them. What I say is I don't sell. I give people enough information to make an informed decision. And, just having those interactions. And the thing I love the most about it is when someone comes back and goes, yeah, last time I was here, you recommended this bottle and I absolutely loved it. I'm like, thank you. That's
nice.
Like, that's the highlight of my day right there, is you just come back and telling me that. But just growing within that as well, to where now, if my new director wants to bring something on, my director's like, here, I want you to try this, because, they know I have a good palate for being able to taste things. But then they're like, I'm buying this, so now it's your job to sell it. So you need to know what's going on here and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So that way, then having success at that, like I'm glad I actually took that opportunity. And it's not the biggest choice I've made in life, but it was definitely the most recent one that was definitely a complete change from what I was accustomed to doing in life.
I think for me, just comment on this. We're at a moment in your life where taking the shot changed everything. So I was recently remarried in June, right? So Kristen and I have been together. We don't know each other. You guys, Nate and I know each other for many years. But it was something where at 40 or so I was divorced, and then I was single and dating or whatever through my 30s, mainly in 40. Getting back out on the dating market is terrible.
Yeah.
It's never good. But at 40 years old, it's worse, just so you know. Don't do it if you're thinking about it.
I'll try not to.
Yeah, I wouldn't encourage it. But it's something where I ended up meeting Kristen, my now wife, and it was something where it was like very like, foot kind of over the brake type thing, and not sure. She was divorced as well more recently than I was, and it was just kind of came to that conclusion, or maybe potential conclusion, that I would be more or less single the rest of my life. And I kind of come to terms with it, you know what I mean? Owned a house, had a job, it's like, this is just where I'm at. I'm cool. I'm fine. I'm doing it. And then met her through just the old school way. I actually met her at a bar, watching football. Highly recommend that also over dating apps, by the way.
You've already got two things in common.
Yeah. So it was something that, I would say that there was a lot of hesitation going into it, and it's interesting later in life, or wherever you're at maturity wise. And it's not a mature is better or worse, but it was like a lot more open communication, like expectations. It was a little more upfront. Yeah, you're trying to impress the person, but at the same time, it's like, look, like, this is my reality. This is your reality. Does it make sense? All of that stuff. And then it was, things got more serious and all that stuff. And then, she moved into my house because she and her ex had sold their house. She was in an apartment, yada, yada, yada. But it came down to it where in the last year and a half, it was, hey, like, let's get a place together, sell your house. And it was a big take the shot kind of moment where it's like, all right, well, I was good. I've got a house. I can afford it on my own. Like, is it worth taking the risk with this when other things in life, other relationships in life, although they were good at times, they ended up failing. Now it's like, do I get out of my now new comfort zone and take that risk to if this doesn't work out, like, I might be fucked. You know what I mean? I might not be able to afford the house again. Look at the housing market, right? I couldn't afford it now. And I will say that, like, there was a lot of conversation. There was some hesitation. Again, little bit foot on the brake, but it got to the point where it was this type of situation where I'm just like, look, I'm going to do it because this is how I'm feeling. Worst case scenario, I'll figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the best case scenario is that where we're at right now is that we own a home together. We did it. Like we talked about it. We figured out a way to sell my house, do this, get married. We talked about whether or not we want to have kids. What do we want to see for our future? And it was like those types of conversations that we all, I think, wish we could have had, when we were like 20, but that's not ever going to be a reality, in my opinion, that you don't have that. I mean, obviously, hopefully you luck out and you can go through the ups and downs of a relationship, of a marriage and all that stuff. But I think that for me is something that I could have held on to the ball. I could have said, and then just completely sabotaged what could be. And so far it's going very well. Right. So, you hope that it continues to do so with that mentality of, it's like, I'm not going off the cuff. I'm not just going down, through the basketball metaphor. I'm not just, head down, dribbling, running as fast as I can, hoping to make that layup. And then I look up and I just completely brick it because I'm just focused on going in all in. This was something that was calculated. It was, you never know what it's going to really bring. But the thing is that I feel as though, because of the thought and everything else, is that you take that shot, if you will, it will change everything. And it could have changed everything for the bad if it didn't work out. It is extremely a strong win at this, at this point. And I say at this point, and if Kristen's listening, it's not like I'm waiting for the failure.
She is. She just
yeah. I'm sure she did. But no, I mean, my point is that you do need to at least go in with your full heart and everything, and know that you are making it that choice, that decision for the best of your life and everyone involved in it. And I think that when you do that, I'm of the opinion that is a higher success rate than if you do things still with looking in the rearview mirror, still with your foot on the brake, still with, okay, I'm going to take the shot, but I'm nervous about it. It's all right. I decided to take the shot. I'm all in. Let's go. And I really do think that that's something that, again, with you having kids, I think this is something that people need to continue to promote. It's not the, take care of your, no, when take care of yourself, but by doing that, do what you want to do. I think there is something there.
Yeah, as long as you're calculated, I mean, even if you take your shot, I don't think you're really falling far, as long as you set yourself up. And I mean, it sounds like you kind of set yourself up the way that you said going into this relationship, that if you kind of took that shot, you were on good ground to begin with.
Yeah. I think part of it too was it's intimidating, right? When you go into that, it's very intimidating because there is a fear of the unknown. Even if you feel confident in it, you're like, well, what if? Because I'm comfortable right now, but it could be better. And sometimes, like I said, you can sabotage it by having that what if mentality of, what if I could have done this? And all of a sudden now it's a spiral. It's absolutely a spiral. And that can be in your career. It can be in
access to social media and information. Just, again, that doesn't help spirals, especially for
it certainly doesn't.
No, not good.
All right, let's do one more here, and this is the big one here. At what point in life do you realize that the shot clock is real and you don't actually have forever to make your move? We have a finite time on this earth. You don't like to think about it, but at what point in your life do you realize that there is a shot clock?
I don't think that it is the same for anybody.
Okay.
I mean, nobody's time on this earth is going to be the same. And I think past experiences, family or friends, traumas. I mean, there's so many different factors that go into this that shape your outlook on life. That, I mean, mortality to some people could come pretty quick. And the thought of that, I mean, I think that's, as a father, I'm trying to kind of put that veil up and shield my kids from that. I mean,
sure.
for as long as possible. I think everybody's trying to do that until, dare I say it, things get too dark, and then you kind of have to accept that.
I've heard it more often actually, is that kind of hypothetical, not hypothetical, it's this question. If I gave you $1 million today, but you knew you were going to die tomorrow, would you take it?
Mm.
And almost anyone would say absolutely not.
How many people can I benefit in 24 hours?
It's a good way to answer it.
Mm.
Sure.
It's a very selfless way to answer it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess for me, yeah, no, well said.
No, get in there. Yeah.
My freshman year of college, I went home and I was a soccer player. We played pickup soccer, and I played with my dad, and he had a heart attack while we were playing, just like straight back, smack down.
Wow.
He survived, but it was like, oh shit,
Wow.
like that's real. And so that sort of, I don't know that it really impacted a lot of the way that what I did with my life, or if it changed my behavior. But I think a lot of my mindset was like, oh, we're in a limited spot here.
Yeah.
And so that's like sort of that mindset shift of like, oh, you do. And I have no grandparents left. And so it's like, oh, once you start to lose people around you, you sort of see that it's like, once you look back at their life, it's like, oh, what do you think they wish they would have done?
Sure.
But they didn't have the time to, or that they didn't. So sort of that was the point for me, that it's like, oh yeah, could be anybody.
Yeah. I think this is going to be very kind of the darker side of it, but there is that saying also, and I might listen to different sayings than you guys do, but if people told you at the start of your life that you are dying, would you live your life differently?
Mm.
It's a very, very, it's not a, sun's shining out there, you know what I mean? But it can be if you look at it the right way.
I think there'd be a lot of people that if you told them that right off the get-go, they would live a lot more cautiously. They would be
purpose.
I think they'd be
cautiously.
I think they'd be more afraid of taking chances.
Okay.
Because they didn't know what chance might be the last one. So they're like, well, if I don't ever take a chance, then that doesn't happen.
Sure.
But then there's the people that are like, well, I'm going to take this chance, and who knows, it might actually be something that turns out great, and my time's not done until later on, and I get to experience the joy of this, versus never having experienced that. It's that lived many years but lived a small life versus living a large life in a small amount of years.
I just had someone with a storm this last Friday that there was a friend of a friend, because the friend had told that friend of mine. And it was something that, if you remember Pete Scalia, who was on the show, never give up. Pete Scalia, he's now in Cincinnati. He's an anchor down there, one of the news stations. But if you remember the same situation, tree fell down and landed literally on the chair that they had been sitting in about 5 minutes prior.
Came right through
for whatever reason, they had gotten up. And then when that happened this last weekend, I was like, oh my God, I've heard that story before. Like, holy shit. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But I think, the shot clock is real.
I feel like if we knew what the shot clock would be the biggest difference. If we all knew where the clock was for everybody, because like I said, it's not the same. But if you see mine's this amount of years, and that's where the decisions I feel like are going to change drastically, is if you could see the time. I feel like that's a Justin Timberlake movie or something.
In Time. Great movie.
If you could know, would you?
I mean, I feel like the catch-22.
Do you want to know?
Live more peacefully knowing that you're not dying rather than the opposite.
I like more accurately in like a movie is like in Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby, with my source of or my level of income and the advances in modern science, I can live to be at least 150 or whatever he says. I like that mentality. Yeah. There's a question. All right, to the panel real quick. Like if I said, I will tell you the day you're going to die, would you want to know that answer?
James?
I think no. To me, no.
You don't want to know.
I don't think I would want to know. No, because I think
All right.
it would impact the way that I would live my life, and I don't know that.
Well, yeah, that's what I was just piggybacking off this one was like, if everybody was born with, all right, that clock, do you think that with or without it, you're the same person?
No, I don't think so.
No,
No, I think
any-
I think in the ideal world you are. I think in the
Yeah.
reality you
I
are
think
not.
everybody wants to say they are, but I think it'd be hard.
Yeah.
To do.
yeah,
True.
which is why I think I wouldn't want to know, because I think it
Or-
would change
I-
how I would act based on it.
I think
right?
you have some of those people where, if you told someone who was 42 years old, like, hey, you're going to die at 50, over the course of the next 8 years, they may sit there and go, okay, I'm going to take that trip. I'm going to take that adventure. I'm going to do that. But then on the flip side, you'll have some people that, if you tell them when it's going to happen, they're like, they just curl up because they just sit there and wait for the moment.
I think if you
Yeah.
found
And
out
they
it was
don't do
later,
anything.
you would plan for retirement differently. You know what I mean? Like, let's
See,
say
I
you're
was
going to
thinking
die at 50.
zero
I
argument
got 8 years. You're like, all right, I can make that work. You know what I mean? If they say like 95, you're like, fuck, I don't have enough in my retirement right now.
I got to keep working. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Keep working, start investing a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Well, I
Play
mean,
it safe.
95, you might not be wanting to make investments.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday I was at the funeral for someone who passed away at the age of 96, and one of the things that one of their granddaughters had told at the eulogy was this was a person who was able to open up their heart and find love twice. They had married their high school sweetheart, had 5 kids, outlived 3 of them,
Wow.
and at one point actually remarried and was with that person for I think 12 years before that person passed away. And that's one of those where
Jeez.
some people would look at that and go, all right, here's someone who lost the love of their life, and then years later open themselves up to find love again and outlive that person. But it was the fact that they allowed themselves to open up again to possibly that person going before them. Like, they knew that was a possibility because that person was actually older than them. So they knew that was a chance, and they still were like, no, I love this person. I'm still going to do it. Like, I've had a great life already. Like, if something happens, like, so be it. Like, that person was like, I'm still going to take the chance, even though they were almost 80 years old at that point. They were like, I'm still going to take the chance.
Yeah, Kristen's younger than me by about 6 years, and I already told her I've got to go first. Like, this is not like, I'm sorry to her, you know what I mean? But like, no.
Oh, I say that to my wife all the time. Like, I live my life a little harder than you do.
Yeah.
You might be 3 years older than me. Chances are, but I'm not allowed to go first. I'm not allowed. I'm like, well, unfortunately, it's not up to you.
Yeah.
Unless you take it out of God's hands.
You guys have anything else on this one, or we're going to round it out with some closing remarks here? But I do want to thank you guys for sticking through this.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
this is great.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
A little different. Appreciate you guys
great.
sharing this bottle with us, and High Bank, obviously, with this project. I just want to kind of recap that here. You got Whiskey War Cigar Cask. You do have availability tomorrow if you guys are local and you're able to make it. $35, all you can eat. You have access to sampling this and also to buy this bottle before anyone else can. You guys have 8 TVs there, I think. So you have all the games on all day long. Basically, it's from 12 to 6 or 11 to 6.
Yep, 11
Yep.
to 6. Yep.
James and I will be
11 to 6.
pouring.
There you go.
I'll be hanging
Um,
out. Yeah, I'll
we'll
be here.
Yeah, and the bottle is $99.99. So if you guys are local, this is something you want to get your hands on. Obviously, if you guys are just tuning in, listen back to the whole episode, and we talk a lot about the bottle. We also talk about the CAO Flathead Speed Shop, the Habano. This is also a great cigar. We are now smoking that new one from Romeo y Julieta. This is the Reserva Real Nicaragua Profundo, made by AJ Fernandez for Romeo y Julieta. Not going to talk a lot about it because we'll probably feature this as a featured cigar coming up in an upcoming episode. But we do appreciate, obviously, Tinderbox at Easton for supplying that cigar for us, both the CAO Flathead Speed Shop, but also this one did come from them by way of Altadis, which is a sponsor of the show.
Yeah.
So, closing remarks. If you guys want to talk about whiskey, you want to talk about your shot clock running out, whatever you want to talk about, I'll let you guys each have a moment to close it out here for yourselves, and then Nate as well.
All right. I just want to say thank you guys for having us on. Whether or not we see you tomorrow or Friday at the Mash Madness events, drink Whiskey War. Thank you, guys.
Cheers to that.
If Amy says there's a spot available, I might make it on Friday.
Do it.
We can make it happen.
Hey, you know people now.
Yeah, I guess tie it all back together. Life is beautiful. Life is fleeting. So is a bottle of whiskey, right? That's what it's all about.
T-shirt. That's a T-shirt right there. Nice.
That's pretty good.
Love it.
2 companies good at swag, right?
Right. I know. Right there. Go ahead, Nate.
You know, one of the things during the latter part of this topic made me think of taking the shot. I don't watch a whole lot of basketball, especially NBA. I'll watch college. If I'm not working, I'll watch college basketball. I love college basketball. Never, like, many years ago, I gave up on the NBA.
After Jordan retired.
A little bit later, but sure.
All right.
Funny you mentioned that, though.
Okay.
One of the things I think about, take Jordan, for example. When the game was on the line, he wanted the ball. Same thing with Kobe Bryant. Like, those guys wanted the ball. Even though they may have missed the game-winning shot more times than they made it, they at least wanted the ball, because in their mind, they were like, I'm the best player on the court. I want the ball. And then you have people in today's NBA,
Don't
like
say names.
LeBron,
All right.
who doesn't want the ball when the game is on the line. They don't want to take the shot because they don't want to fail and miss the game-winning shot. And so they pass the ball off when there's not even enough time for that person to take a shot. Like or
Jordan did pass it off to John Paxson and also Steve Kerr for game-winning shots in the finals.
Steve Kerr was the one, now that Steph Curry, like, he was at the time, he was the greatest three-point shooter in the history.
LeBron
of the game.
James may not suit up that day.
Exactly.
Is more accurate in my opinion.
That's very true.
Yeah.
But that
No
says
offense if you're LeBron fans.
But no, it says something to the mentality of those two athletes playing the exact same sport. One person didn't at the time consider themselves to be the greatest player, but in most people's minds and even most players' minds was, and they always wanted the ball when the game was on the line. And then you have, another person in modern basketball who calls themselves the greatest player, but then when the game's on the line, they don't want to take the shot. Like, they don't want it when it actually matters. They want it when it's easy. They want the highlight reel. They'll do whatever it takes to get records, but they don't want to do it when it actually matters. And I think that's shows a mentality of different types of people. Some people, they want to go after every opportunity that presents their way. Even if they miss, they still look forward to the next time they get the opportunity. And then there are some people like, well, shit, I missed that one. Like, I don't ever want to take that chance again.
It's a tough one.
And so that prevents them. That prevents, especially in sports, that prevents that person from getting to that level of glory and lore that lives on. Like, that person, like,
makes sense.
Like, everyone remembers certain shots, Jordan over Elo.
I mean, classic.
Cavs.
Classic.
Like, everyone knows that shot. Most people, even that watch basketball today, couldn't, like, hey, remember when? Tell me a time LeBron hit a game-winning shot. Like, I don't know.
He's had them.
He's had them. Right. He has had them. But
yeah, like, even Cavs game, or like Cavs, 2016? It was Kyrie's shot.
Right.
So he's got a point. He's got a good.
That's a good analogy.
I don't remember a LeBron shot in the championship. So it was Kyrie, or it was J.R. Smith.
I think so. Closing remarks. Thank you guys very much. This has been a great experience. Great meeting you guys. Hopefully we'll meet in person at some time very soon. Have you in the garage. Love Amy Jones saying, love watching you all get together. Made my heart happy. It's fantastic. It's people bringing people together, much like cigars and whiskey. I will say this about the part 2 side of it is going back to kind of my whole thing with Kristen, my wife. There, I think age does bring a lot to it, or experience more importantly. I don't necessarily regret like a lot of I don't regret my first marriage. It was very positive in a lot of ways, and we're still amicable. And if she ever needed anything, like she knows that she can reach out. We don't talk often, maybe once, twice a year, just like comments on certain things. You know what I mean? Like in a positive way. Earlier in life, I feel as though you're following kind of the checklist type of thing, what you think you should do. You know, graduate college, anthropology degree, graduate college, sociology. I was very interested in that, much like you were with anthropology. It's that old school university, learning about people, learning about it. It doesn't translate to jobs necessarily directly. You know what I mean? But it does translate because you are trying to apply your way of thinking to no matter what you do. When you were doing the bartending thing, when you're working with people, it has a different sense than someone that was just doing job training the whole time. So there's the two sides of it. Yes, doing something like a vocational school, which I think is very important then, it is now even more so, versus the liberal arts or just a general business degree. On both those sides, it's like you're just kind of doing it to do it. It's kind of expected. It's the checklist thing. You want to have, maybe if you're raised a certain way, you want to have a good home. You want to have the picket fence. You want to have the 2.4 children. You want to have 1.5 dogs. You want to have all these like 2 cars in the driveway that you're proud to show off. That's something that maybe not as much anymore, but growing up, I'm 45 years old. So it's like when around that time, it's like, this was the trajectory. And it was a lot of good there. But I think that with the mentality as you get older, you were taking safer shots back then. Let's go with that metaphor. Taking the safer shots. If you have to pass off, if you have to like that's fine. Now, I think later in life or later in experience, it doesn't have to be an age thing, but hopefully things go well. But I think, and again, going back to you dealing with being a parent, I think the only parent on the panel, right? Is that right? Yeah. So only parent. It's how do you raise the next generation to learn from your experience? Me, myself, I got along with my dad, and my mom's still living. My father's passed. But I mean, there was, those teenage years where it was like, I know better than them. You look back now, you didn't. It's like, how do you cultivate that relationship to the younger generation, whether they're your kids or not, but to say, you want to live more intentionally, more with like that kind of purpose, more with the not necessarily calculated decisions, but more calculated risks. And it's something that I feel as though that I saw someone talking, I forget who it was. They were on, you might have seen this clip, but someone was saying, the younger generation, I'm not promoting drinking, but like they're against drinking, they're against going out. And it's like, how many, especially in your 20s, as long as you do it hopefully safely, the social aspect of getting out and being with people and sharing a hobby or an experience, whether it be through like a spirit or something like that, whether it be a cigar, whether it be a hobby, whatever it is, you have to get out and do it. Take those shots, if you will. You never know who you're going to meet, friend-wise or significant other. But there is something there that I think that and I'm not even that old, but I feel as though people like even in the 40s, 50s, 60s, they're still living that really safe and not calculated, but more hesitant life, that I feel as though there's got to be that balance of make sure you got your bases covered. Obviously, you can pay the bills and do all that stuff. There's one time I was going to quit a job. My dad was like, what are you going to do on Monday? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm pissed off and I want to quit this job. He's like, all right, well, we're not going to help you out. That's that old school, tough love thing. And so I didn't quit the job then, but it was something that I kind of got pushed back on that path. Now going forward, I'm not going to quit because I'm pissed off. I'm going to say, okay, what am I going to do so that I can move forward, whether it be career, whether it be friendship, whether it be, personal, internal struggle or fitness or whatever, like health or whatever it is. There's a lot there that I feel as though that as you gain experience, the shots taken, they're not as big of a risk because you know what you're capable of. And there are those times where you think I got a good chance of making this shot. I might miss, but I'm taking the shot. And I think that's something that you do hopefully continue to grow.
Later in life, risk versus reward, it kind of skews one way or the other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But guys, with that, I want to thank you guys for being a part of this. We're going to sign off, and then we'll say goodbye to you after we sign off here. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you so much, guys. If you're available, obviously hit up Mash Madness. And then if you're in Ohio, head over, see what bottles are available at the High Bank Distillery, the different restaurants, Westerville, Gahanna, and also Grandview. And then if you're in Ohio after that, if there's anything left, you guys have already sent stuff to OHLQ. They'll show up, but definitely this is a get you a bottle.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Stand by.
No, it's still down there.
Oh, we're losing it. Such a solid finish when the mouse dies.
That's good.